And he said, "You wouldn't be so absurd as to direct Plan 9." And I said, "No, but Ed would." Seriously, though, it wasn't as nice as whimsical as what happened in the film.
No.
I mean, much like most of those stories, it turns out Kubrick was a monster as well.
Everyone's a monster!
Everyone's a monster! Everyone's a monster! Everyone is and the bit of the don't look at this monster anyway.
Oh, they're a bit rum.
Rum buggers, if you ask me.
Rum buggers.
Ladies and gentlemen, rum buggers, one and all. You're listening to the Big Damn Cast. I am David Tennant's temporarily fledgling movie career, re the Postman Pat era.
And I am Rum Punch.
Oh, I love some rum punch. Oh, wow. I actually would like some rum punch. Damn! I've barely eaten today, so I'm hungry for anything. And if that is booze, so be it.
Rum Punch just rolls off the tongue.
Speaking of rolling off the tongue,
hey!
We're going to talk about some shit this week.
Yeah, we are.
Pretty straightforward. Top X. We're going to talk about Jessica Oye, Jones Oye, Season 2 Oye.
Not in too much detail, because only one of us has seen it.
Yeah, only one of us did the reading.
Fucking...
Find out who in about 5 minutes. Matt, it's Matt. Matt saw it. But something we both saw was Annihilation, the movie that's too clever for international release.
International theatrical release.
Yeah, let's just face it. Paramount just wanted to save some money.
Yeah,
really. That's all they wanted to do. They wanted to save some money.
We'll get to that.
We'll
get to it.
Will it be a Cloverfield paradox of sort of event or not? We'll find out. We've not actually swapped thoughts on it yet, so that's going to be
no. It's going to be live thought swapping.
Live dirt.
It's going to be dirt.
Plus, for those who wanted to know whether or not we can apparate into Hogwarts, we'll be talking about the trailer for The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah, we got an email about that, so we have to talk about it. Otherwise, we won't bother.
I think the internet would want us to talk about it. We're alive today.
The internet doesn't know we exist.
It's what the internet would have wanted.
The internet, its last wishes were, I want to hear two guys who, one of whom didn't see the first Fantastic Beasts, and neither of whom have any particular affinity for Harry Potter, talk about the trailer for the Harry Potter spin-off that no one wanted.
All I know is I went to the Harry Potter studio tour just over a year ago. It was lovely. It was really cool to have a peek behind the scenes and everything and whatnot. But that was around the time Fantastic Beasts was up for pre-order on digital.
Yeah.
And I've been out in cinemas for about 2 months.
Yeah.
And yet, Fantastic Beasts' breadth within the exhibition was one stand in the foyer with the main character costumes on it. So, like, oh, cool, if you like that film, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Just in the foyer. I mean, if you Billy Hum Hay pop in and drop off a parcel, you can have a look at Newt Scamander's Grundings.
No.
So,
no one's paying to get in and see the Fantastic Beasts.
But, and we'll talk more about it later, but at the same time, this is Warner Brothers' desperate cry to get back some of them Harry Potter dollars, mate.
Oh, I need a franchise! Give us a franchise till the end of the fiscal year!
I mean, we're not sure where you spent all the money that you made after making it all on the Harry Potter movies.
They spent it on the DCU movies.
Yeah.
They poured it down the Justice League hole.
Oh, weird thought. It's like 8 Harry Potter flicks, 3 Chris Nolan Batman films. They rake in all the money.
All of it, mate.
And now they've got no money.
They've got no money.
It's like, where'd you spend it, guy? Just every member of the Warner Brothers production teams at the head offices all just have a really nice couch.
Line up.
They've all just bought a really nice couch.
Line up every movie they've made in the last 5 years. No, well, that's unfair. But like, the DCEU stuff has not gone well for them, has it? Let's be honest.
And similarly with Sony, they make the same thing of like, we want a franchise. Let's throw anything at the wall.
Oh, Sony don't know what. They don't know their arse from their elbow.
No. But speaking of arses,
hey,
and speaking of elbows,
Joss Whedon. Which is it? Spin the wheel. You'll find out.
Oh god. Joss Whedon, everyone's favourite original showrunner who turned out to be a bit of a sleazeball, is back in the news again this week. Last week we were talking about how he's dropped out of Batgirl. But this week, it's because there's been whispers and whisper golds of a Buffy comeback. A comeback of the TV show
Whisper
Buffy the
golds
Vampire
are
Slayer.
alright, aren't they?
They were
I can
nice.
go for a whisper gold.
I could kill for a whisper mint, but they've not made them.
You fucking monster.
Not since the 90s.
Whisper. I'm not a mint chocolate guy.
Great, more for me.
You fucking monster.
Oh, I just ate another whisper mint!
Are you going to be a monster of the week in the revived Buffy?
Yes.
The mint chocolate like
I will be. Well, that's the thing. The monsters in Buffy were perfectly, beautifully, subtly done metaphor symbolizations
for people who like mint chocolate.
Of teenage angst problems, like worries around that age, things that you feel. I could be, considering the characters would all be in their mid-30s now, or even near their 40s, I could be the notion of impending menopause.
Yeah.
For Buffy. I'll
Yeah.
be like, I am
be-
a monster who effectively is representing the fact you're going to be going through something rather uncomfortable and horrible soon.
Could be the physical embodiment of the notion of failure via an unsuccessful youth and coming to your 30s and going, wow, I've not really achieved anything, but I'm a monster version of it, so I've got skin folds and horns.
Got a little dark there for a second.
Do we want Buffy to come back?
No.
I think we covered this last week, didn't we?
What
This
brought
is
this about?
fortuitous.
Was he asked, or was
I
it just a
I
case
saw the
of-
headline on
Because I know
on
it's turned,
CBR, and
it's
he's
turned
like
21 the past
Yeah.
week, and Nick Brendan, bless him, apparently currently sober, did a. That's not fair. I don't know everything that's going on in his life, but he's gone through some very interesting times.
he's
in the
had
last
some,
sort
he's
of
had
10
some
years.
encounters with the law.
Yeah. Nick Brendan, lovely Xander Harris, went on Twitter and did like an impromptu, just like, oh, sorry, I want to do a Q&A. Like, tweet at me with this hashtag and I'll answer questions for like the next hour.
Are you sober?
No. Next question. But he's had the rum punch. But like, it was really sweet. It was like, that's quite cool. He just randomly done a Q&A for the 21st birthday. That's sweet. Considering last year, obviously, it was fanfares ahoy. It's kind of cool that he was like, go on, sod it. There's a buzz around this time of year now for the show. I'll do a Q&A. So I'm guessing that's where this has come from. Maybe someone spoke to Joss. Maybe.
Well, he said he'd like to bring it back when the time is right.
This could be an extract from one of the interviews last year, and the websites have just gone, oh, we'll do a story about that next year.
When's the time right?
Never. As we discussed last week in our main topic, Buffy was meant to end at the end of season 5. We got some excellent work out of season 6 and 7 that, again, we spoke very highly of. Things like the storyteller and final episode Chosen and Once More Feeling. Like, there are things that were worth the extra couple seasons. But it's like, cool. You got to carry on the story in a comic book, which I believe is coming to its end. It's in season 12 now, the comic book. And this is like going to be the last one. Probably because Dark Horse just like, we're having to pay TV writers. This is expensive. Please stop. So
Also, just, is anyone reading it? Is anybody reading it?
Is there anybody out there? As far as I'm aware, I mean, for me, I've only read season 8. And it's one of those where I'm like, when I find season 9, 10, 11 and 12 in omnibuses, I'll go, alright, I'll pick that up and read it.
Listen, I didn't care.
That omnibuses don't save series. Regular issue sales save series.
I didn't care enough about the TV show by the end of it to finish watching it. I sure as hell didn't care enough about the property to pick up a goddamn book and read it with my eyes.
So, you never... Oh, what's the group from X-Files? The group of conspiracy nutters or whatever they're
The
called?
Lone Gunmen.
The Lone Gunmen. So you never picked up that mini-series from Dark Horse?
No, I did, however...
Or the crossover with Turtles, Transformers...
Oh no, I read that.
It's kind of weird, but kind of fun.
It's really strange.
Yeah,
Conspiracy.
but in a way we just sort of go, okay.
Yeah.
Like, fair enough.
Whatever.
X-Files, Transformers crossover.
Yeah.
Okay, this works
sure.
weirdly.
That it's implied to be in the present of the Hearts of Steel universe, which is there was IDW were going to do a line of like Transformers what ifs called Evolutions.
Yeah,
but they only
is a great idea.
But they only ended up doing one, which was Hearts of Steel, which is locomotive Autobots team up with John Henry and stop a Decepticon-led second industrial revolution.
That is freaking genius.
And they're all steam trains.
That is pretty great.
It's fucking weird.
I'd read the shit out of that.
It's not good. So apparently the X-Files Transformers crossover is set in the modern day of that universe. Because of course it is. But no, yeah, I mean,
with Buffy wrapping up in comics, it seems like there we go. Here's for those who wanted more. We've had by the end of season 12, we've had an extra 5 seasons of it in comic book form. What more do you want? Like, maybe now it's time to tell the end of the story and finish it off.
I actually want less.
I mean, spoiler alert.
I actually want there to be less of it.
Considering you didn't watch the show to the end, minus spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Anya's dead. Spike's dead.
No, because he turned up in Angel after.
Yes, but
the
then
end of
Angel ended on a cliffhanger because they didn't know it was going to be cancelled, and then they found out right toward the end, but decided to leave it on a cliffhanger ending because they thought it was a more satisfying ending to the show tonally overall.
Yeah,
because it's with Spike and Angel and a few others about to basically face the forces of hell, and then it just cuts to black. And
there has been a comic continuation of that as well.
So I'm not sure. I mean, Spike will probably be in that, but all the same, I'm like, okay, Spike belongs to Angel now. So if you want to bring back Buffy, I mean, obviously they brought it back, they'd be like, we've got to find a way to put Spike and Angel in it. But, I don't want to watch Buffy.
Spangel.
I don't want to watch Mum Buffy with inevitably like her daughter who's also got Slayer powers or something. I don't care about that. I don't give a shit. I think what we all do want is something that they tried to get off the ground numerous times since 2001, which was we'd all like to see the Ripper miniseries, which is what they were going to do for forever.
Yeah.
Which was a story of Rupert Giles back in his times before studying to become a Watcher, like when he was the rebellious twat of a teenager that he was. They were going to do that as a miniseries. Originally, it was going to be a modern day series with him cleaning up something from his past. Yeah. And then it was going to be a series set in the past
when the BBC...
with Anthony Head doing like that. There was a modern day thing, so it was like a parallel mystery was playing out.
Were the BBC involved in that?
Yeah, BBC were going to do it, and then Fox were like, "No, we're going to do it." And it was like, "Okay," and then it was a Fox joint BBC thing, and then Warner Brothers got involved, and eventually it just died a death.
Too many cooks, too many cooks.
But I'd watch the shit out of that, and I'll tell you for why. That's how you can get away with doing your weird little you bring back of the show kind of. Do 1 season of Ripper. Make it like a 5-6 episode.
5-6 seasons
no.
in one.
Make it a 5-6 episode season. Yeah,
it's one season, but it's 120 episode order.
My God, no. But you know what I mean? Like, do that. Have it be a story. Set it between modern day. Like Rupert is having to go back and deal with some shit that is direct linkly to his days when he was Ripper and all that stuff, all his rebellious teenage bullshit. And then your PS, your beautiful little weird little PS, is in the last episode, you just have him settle back, like, home. And of course, home for him is probably wherever they all ended up after Chosen. And that's where you just randomly have a scene where everyone comes around for dinner or something. And you're like, holy fuck, it's all the characters we grew up loving. There they are, they're okay. They're all good, do you know what I mean? Just that. And then you can go, there you go, everybody. There's your I wonder where all the characters are at now moment. There they are. There's them. But it's not in a way where we've strung it out and told an unnecessary story. It's a cameo from them all in a scene that makes you go, yay, they all still hang out together. This is great.
I have a different idea, and I'm going to say that my idea is better.
I'm probably going to agree. Hit me with it.
It's, as you say,
a
series about Rupert Giles and stuff he did in his past. But the twist is that in this past, he was Rupert the Bear.
Matt, I'll be honest, the moment you started pitching to me, the look on your face suggested that you weren't taking this seriously.
No, I'm 100% serious.
But now that you've actually said what the hell was on your mind when you flashed that cheeky grin across this table
because
at
the
me.
teaser image would just be like Anthony Stewart Head with the yellow check scarf.
When you opened your mouth to give me this idea, I took the moment to listen to it. I gave you the floor.
It's like Christopher Robin.
And do you know what I'm going to say to you, Matthew
But if
Watson?
Christopher Robin was Pooh Bear
Do you know what I'm going to say to
all
you?
along,
Do you know what I'm going to say?
what?
Shut up and take my money. Like reverse Christopher Robin.
If only we had some floppy-haired millennial who was a whiz at pitching, but wasn't an absolute shitheel to write a script for it, a spec script. Maybe the son of a famous filmmaker, you know, a member of some Hollywood dynasty who is full of wondrous ideas, and always fails to execute on them, and also be a good person. Not a garbage human being. But I don't know anyone like that. My memory's gone blank.
There's one guy who comes to mind, but I think he's been a pussy and hiding on Instagram. So, satire about the industry, la 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 mince. He's not getting to write that third season, and he doesn't fucking deserve it. Anyway. Although I wouldn't be against them hiring someone else to showrun it and carrying it on, but whatever. So
it's been a good week for Netflix.
Yes, it has.
Well, it's been a good week for Netflix viewers. I don't know what their figures have been like. But
they're probably $5 billion in debt.
Yeah, they're very in debt, I think.
They're very in debt and yet commissioning more things, which means they either have a very, very long game planned out.
The 8th
Yeah.
of March.
Oh.
The previously recorded 8th of March. It's gone. International Women's Day 2018.
Yes.
Jessica Jones season 2 dropped.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is it dropping on a Thursday? Oh, it's the National Women's Day. That makes so much sense. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't.
I have not, but I do.
You fucker.
But I do own a Jessica Jones action figure.
You do.
And I feel that makes me exempt from all criticism.
True. And I am also up to date on the current Jessica Jones comic book.
Which
is about to hit its final issue, its final Brian Michael Bendis issue.
Oh, right. So they're carrying it on after...
Someone else is carrying it on, but they haven't announced who yet. I
Well,
don't know if they're going to carry on with the same series or Marvel's got this whole fresh start thing coming up, which we should talk about a bit later. 'Cause I've got an email about it.
Why?
Just
again.
Just. You do it to yourself. You do. You do it to yoself. Just you. You and no one else. You do it to yourself.
Download from iTunes.
My cover of Radiohead's Just. Jessica Jones Season 2 picks up after The Defenders. So no one remembers what happened in that.
Does not watching The Defenders affect the storyline in any way?
Not watching The Defenders is actually an improvement. No, The Defenders was alright. Some of it was a bit pants.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It should have even though it was 8 episodes, it should still have been less. It should have been 4. And just been an extended movie.
Yeah, you can skip The Defenders quite happily.
Just quickly glance the Wikipedia paragraph at the end of the description.
Nothing from The Defenders comes to play in this series. The ongoing stuff is all dealing with fallout from the last season of Jessica Jones.
Jessica Cajones.
The ending with spoilers, I guess. Although at this point, are they really?
It came out over 2 years ago. So
it ends.
Yeah.
It's her. She's killed. Kilgrave, the purple man,
in a grave.
The man who tortured her, mind controlled her, and she's trying to build her life, rebuild her life and her business, Alias Investigations. But she's still drinking a lot, and she's still kind of a piece of shit, and she's still struggling with interpersonal relationships, and she's just dealing with stuff, a lot of stuff, so much stuff.
Hey Jessica, what are you thinking about? Stuff.
Superhero stuff. Her adoptive sister, Trish Walker, is pushing deeper and deeper with her investigation into IGH, the mysterious company organization that gave Jessica her powers, and that's where we kind of open up with season 2. It's good. I'm glad to report. It is also emotionally harrowing, and it will hollow you out.
That's good. I mean, they did it with Punisher, and it worked like Billio. That was the last Marvel Netflix offering we got, and that was pretty soul-destroying in a way that felt worth it, because of the journey it took.
It very much carries the same themes of the first season, of it being about surviving abuse, both physical and mental, and people putting their lives together back with that, and the effects that people have on each other in the wake of that, and people's toxic habits, and how they affect other people in their lives, and how that spirals out. And it's very much about relationships, both positive and negative, sometimes both, and just getting through the day. There's a lot of gaslighting in this series. There's a lot of people manipulating people, but people not knowing they're being manipulated, and people being told things that they believe but aren't the truth, but the people who are telling them do believe it, but they know it's not the truth. It's very... People are being emotionally Milli
Vanilli.
People are being emotionally Milli Vanilli all up in the shizzle.
Okay.
It's... Look, it's just fucking great. There's not a great deal to talk about without spoiling it, and I'm not worried about spoiling it for you, Christopher, because I don't value you as a human being. But
also, I did say that I'm probably not going to be able to watch it properly for a few weeks. So go ahead, fair enough.
But I don't want. I don't want to. There's not too much to talk about if only one of us has seen it, because there are some bombshells dropped in this show. It does very much delve into Jessica and Trish's pasts, and how it shaped what they are today, and how it informs their relationship with each other going forward, and Jessica's relationship with people. And there are some revelations about people in Jessica's life which go down. They go down hard, and some stuff happens, and yeah. Don't be looking for a big bad. There's no, overarching big villain. Well, I get, there sort of is, but then...
But it's not like comic book
There's no Kilgrave character.
Yeah, which Marvel baddie's the baddie? It's like, it's not that straightforward this time.
No, it's not like, they're not pulling from a rogues gallery of someone, and then because Jessica Jones doesn't have a rogues gallery because she's not that kind of character.
What about the Purple Man? Daredevil villain. Next.
Also, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like...
Or is he? He is,
He's dead. Yeah. He's dead.
But David Tennant has filmed scenes for this series, Matt. So what could fans of Kilgrave expect from the series?
David Tennant appears in season 2 of Jessica Jones.
That's all you're going to say?
That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, it's really good. Great cast. The new additions to the cast are just fabulous. It's a really strong ensemble piece. I think every episode, the whole season's been directed by female directors, which is cool. Mm-hmm. It feels like a timely show in the wake of the Me Too and Time's Up movements.
Yeah.
It is very much about abuse and empowerment of the victim, and the various ways in which people take control of their lives after the abuse has ended. If they do at all, actually. Give it a watch. It's great. Just be prepared for some just really harrowing stuff.
So less Luke Cage, more Punisher.
Less Luke Cage, more Punisher. In terms of tone, it definitely is a sequel to. It is very much a second season of Jessica Jones rather than taking any influence from anything else, and it's fairly disconnected from the other Netflix Marvel stuff, and it's fairly disconnected from Marvel stuff as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's mention of the Raft. So
okay, the supervillain prison from Civil War.
Yeah, so
the super person prison from Civil War.
Yeah, and there are mention of there's a character in it a child character who has a Captain America action figure and idolizes Captain America. So there's that sense of.
Do you think that's the show's nod to Alias as well? Considering there was a whole story.
Yeah, there was a
about
whole
Captain America. Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. But it's fairly divorced from a lot of that. Although, in the first episode, you do get a sort of appearance from obscure Golden Age character, the Wizard.
Really?
Or do you?
Okay.
But
Right.
when you say, yeah, it's really good. It's really good the way they do it. When they do use stuff from the wider Marvel universe, the way they do it is really smart. So yeah, Jessica Jones season 2. Give it a watch. Don't expect. Expect a good time, but not a fun time.
Damn. I would say
You will enjoy it. You will not have fun.
You know, I would say that adequately leads us into our next topic, actually. In terms of something that we'll have a good time, but not necessarily because you're having a fun time.
Could you possibly be talking about the Alex Garland scripted and directed super cerebral sci-fi movie Annihilation, starring Natalie Portman and Jennifer Jason Leigh and
Gina
Rodriguez and others? Benedict Wong, Salford lad Benedict Wong.
Yeah, Salford's own. His little eyes. Not like that, just the fact that I say that about everybody. Wow, that could sound wrong. Moving on, because that's not what I meant. Yeah, bless.
You shitheel.
Yeah, in a way.
Oscar Isaac. Sweet Oscar.
Sweet, beautiful caramel Oscar. Again, I don't mean it like that. I just think he looks like caramel. That could be delicious, especially with a warm drink.
If the smooth,
I
multi-sweet
just thought while I'm
taste,
digging myself a hole, I may as well fucking bury myself in reverse while I'm down here.
If the smooth, multi-sweet taste of a liquid caramel was a person,
Yeah.
that would be the personage.
Mm.
The visage,
Yes.
the sound, the smell, the scent, the essence, or as the French say, l'essence de Oscar Isaac. Yeah, he's in this as well.
I'll pay you $5 for digging me out of that. Yeah, Annihilations. It's based on a book. Trilogy, isn't it? Annihilation...
it's just called the Southern Reach trilogy.
And... Oh god, I've got this. Oh, man!
My girlfriend's read them all, I've not.
Yeah, but it's about this specific event, this weird thing, and the people who got to deal with it, and the next one's about just more stuff about the organisation who did it, and then the third one's like
back and forth.
Yeah, the third one's like little stories set during the time or based around the plot of the first.
This is based on because Alex Garland wrote the script, only having read the first book before the other two were published.
Yeah. Which is probably best as far as adaptation goes, to some extent, because it means what you're doing is you've taken the one thing and then you've adapted it to a different medium. Without the whole pressure of what people think of it, what people's favourite parts are.
This ain't starting a franchise, kids.
No.
This is not part one of a trilogy.
No. This is one movie. There's room for them to do more if they want to.
But
not based around these people or their world. It'd be more from the organisation itself. Quite like the book, really.
So Annihilation is basically... There is a place called Area X, which is... basically a big old bubble that sprouted up somewhere in the United States in a fairly
innocuous sort of seaside
there
area.
was a small community there, but
it's the sort of place where people go for a dog walk.
Yeah. Lots of it's a rural area.
So maybe like one sort of neighbourhood, a few local shops and whatnot, a lighthouse and a beach. It's tiny. And something lands.
Something lands, and this bubble, this shimmer, starts to expand outwards from the lighthouse where the epicenter of whatever happened was.
But it's incredibly gradual as well. Like it's
incredibly
taking
gradual.
its time.
But it's this sort of.
And it's been there for at least over a year at this point.
I think they say it's been there for 3 years.
Okay, yeah. Of course, because the one of the characters would have entered it just over a year ago, and they were as far as the military camp. So yes,
they keep. So this organisation, the Southern Reach facility, it keeps sending teams into the bubble, No one comes out.
Aye. So she probably stopped sending teams into the bubble.
They need to know because it's expanding. And it's expanding. And I think they say, when you first see it, they say in like 10 months, it's going to be where we're standing now.
Yeah. So it is. And then, it is slow.
It is, but it's growing.
Yeah.
And yeah, no one comes back apart from Oscar Isaac's character, the husband of Natalie Portman's Lena, who's a biologist at Johns Hopkins. He disappeared a year ago. She didn't know why, and then he reappears after a year with little or no sort of fragmented memory, and almost immediately falls horribly ill, and they're intercepted by Southern Reach personnel on the way to the hospital. He's suffering from multiple organ failure. He can't remember who he is. He's non-responsive.
Bleeding internally.
Yeah. And Lena is introduced to the concept of Area X and ends up joining a team along with Jennifer Jason Leigh's psychologist, Dr. Ventress, Tessa Thompson's biologist, Gina Rodriguez's
security.
No, she's
she was security, wasn't she?
She's paramedic.
That's it.
And there's another lass whose name I can't remember who plays.
I'm going to look her up because I also had a moment. She plays Shepherd as the character.
Yeah, she's not a geologist. She studies fucking whatever.
It's Tuva.
Surveyor and geologist.
Tuva Novotny as Cass Shepherd, who's surveyor and geologist.
Yeah.
So Tuva. What a great name, actually. Tuva.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's Lena joins this team who they quite rightly say, like when she's introduced to them, she realises they're going in a week. They're being sent into the Shimmer. And she says, why? And it's like, well, they've sent the soldiers. They've sent several sets of soldiers. Now they're just sending the scientists. Like, they're just like, look, no one seems to be coming back. Everyone's got as good a chance as anyone else. We need to obviously minimise the amount of possible casualties. So we're not going to send you all in with a big security task force. We're just going to send you in. Because the idea is, isn't it, that they're a small enough unit that they should hopefully slip in through whatever might be in there relatively unnoticed if they're not lugging around giant chunks of equipment and whatnot.
Oh, they are all armed, and Natalie Portman's character is ex-military.
Yeah. She's very important, because you're probably thinking, if you haven't watched it, why the hell is she joining them? But it seems that they all may be in there for various reasons that they volunteered or asked to be assigned to this job that aren't suicidal but self-destructive, which is one of the themes in the movie.
Annihilation is an apt title.
Yeah.
This movie is weird.
The way we've described it sounds kind of like your standard sci-fi creature feature. It sort of sounds like they've got to go in and deal with this shit that's been killing people.
And make no mistake, inside in Area X, there is some weird shit going down. There is some body horror, some straight up creature horror, and some just utter weirdness. Which
the majority
seems to be believed.
For those who are wondering, I'm a bit queasy with this sort of stuff, a bit squeamish. Like, there's only really a few moments of explicit. Oh my god! The rest of it is witnessing something like that having happened a while ago, and what it looks like now.
There are
and I
two
don't just
moments,
mean like decay. It's like, oh, this is different.
There are two moments of like, Jesus Christ, that's violent.
Yeah, and the and then there's some moments of, oh, my imagination's filling in how it's got from there to there, and it's not pleasant.
You should see the gestures Chris is making. They're quite wonderful.
Great.
And I understand exactly what he means, which is, look, if you've seen any of Alex Garland's directorial stuff, which is really only Ex Machina and Dredd, although not in name.
Yeah.
Because he basically directed Dredd, but someone else is credited because these financiers didn't want him to direct it.
And Poltergeist all over again.
Yeah. And if you've seen any of the films he's written, you'll know that this guy has he's adept at the strange and the fantastic and the visually arresting, which is a hell of a skill for a writer. Like all of his stuff has such an important visual element that comes through from his writing that really lends itself well to genre stuff like Annihilation. And this is a gorgeous looking movie. It's a beautiful looking movie. And also, when it goes in for those moments of sort of like Cronenbergian body horror, still strangely beautiful. And there's some trippy, weird shit going on in this film. And Paramount pushed it. They sold it to Netflix internationally. It got a theatrical release in the US. Critics love it. No one saw it.
Yeah.
No one went to see it. So it's gone direct to Netflix.
Which is so
over
odd
here.
because they've pushed the star power of it.
Yeah.
All the posters have been Natalie Portman.
But they haven't really pushed it.
Yeah, it almost feels like that whole.
Yeah.
We've not spent a tremendous amount on this, so we're not going to bother.
Because
with
they
the
don't
marketing.
have confidence in it. They don't, because it's something that a lot of people want. It's an original, intelligent, thought-provoking, slow-burning sci-fi movie. It's got a female cast. It's got a minority representation, but no one goes to see it because it's not. Have you seen the Red Letter review of this?
I think I watched it before I saw the
It's
film,
just-
so I kind of blurred in and out a bit. So that
And it's just them talking about like it's not a sequel, and it's not based on a comic book, and it's not part of a franchise, so no one goes to see it. But people keep saying, "Oh, we want original stories, and we want we want more female characters," but no one goes to see it. You do these things, and no one goes to see them, and it's really good.
Yeah,
and it's annoying that no one's going to see it, because that means that the studios are going to look at it and go, "Oh well, no one went to see it because no, it was full of women, and it wasn't." It
it
a comic book
almost
movie."
sounds like the people
And
who
it's-
greenlit it and got that ball rolling wanted that. They wanted change. They wanted to prove everyone wrong.
Well,
prove the studios wrong.
Alex Garland
and the audience is right. And then along the way, someone else has gone, "Yeah, not sure about this. Let's just tuck it away over here."
Alex Garland and his producer Scott Rudin had to fight with the studio about this movie
Yeah.
because after the test screenings apparently went disastrously,
Oh.
and the studio wanted him to make changes, but Scott Rudin, who had final cut as producer, was like, "Nope, this is the movie me and Alex wanted to make, and this is what we made." So,
Oh, so you think it's more,
we're not
is it
doing
more of an
that.
element of spite almost?
I don't think it's an element of
studio?
spite. I think the studio is genuinely, they genuinely don't know what to do with this film.
I know what you do. You put your trailers on TV, you stick your posters in bus shelters, you put it out in the cinemas. That's what you do with it, and you let the audience speak for themselves. In the pre-Netflix age, I think this is a movie that will have underperformed simply because they've not really pushed or fanfared, but then would find its audience on home release. It's like Dread. Do you know what? It's like Dread again.
Yeah, it is exactly like Dread again.
No one went to see Dread, hit DVD, and everyone was like, "This is incredible!
No one
Holy
went to see it
shit!"
'cause
And
didn't get
it
pushed.
made like 4 or 5 times its theatre take on DVD in the first 6 months of being in home release.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but the problem is they can't do that with Annihilation because they've sold it to Netflix.
Yep.
So they've got one payout for it effectively, then they'll get a cut of a certain thing.
Well, they've got a lot of multiple payouts for it because it's everywhere outside of the US. It's a Netflix release,
But
so it'll have been paid per territory, I imagine. But yeah,
that's mental, man.
and it's just that in a way it's great because it means that more people get to see it easier
Yeah.
outside of the US.
People who are already spending that $6.99 a month don't have to spend any extra
Yeah.
to see it.
But
Yeah.
it means it's not getting that attention at the box office, which it might not have got anyway. But you didn't push it, so you don't know. And it's studios failing to get behind these movies, which is causing them to not perform well, and that's leading to the further homogenization of cinema. And listen, I like franchises, and I like comic book movies, and I like big dumb action movies. I'm not going to turn around and go, "Oh, the movie industry is dying because we just keep doing the same thing over and over again." It's like, no. That's fine. That's
The movie industry boomed throughout the 30s,
That's
and all
trends.
they did was do the same thing over and over again.
That-
What's that? You want to do a talkie with a few musical numbers? Let's do it!
That's trends in movies.
What is it? It's a story set in Hollywood? Yeah, okay. We'll do another one.
The problem is, the reason that cinema has a problem is because the prices are going up. And because the prices are going up, people are spending less. Because people are spending less, they're being more selective. Because people are being more selective, studios are more afraid to take risks. Because studios are more afraid to take risks, risky movies don't get pushed. So when they do come out, they don't perform how they should. This is a movie that a lot of people should see. This is a movie that should be doing gangbusters at the box office because it's great. It is original and it is smart and it is clever and it is
visually
important.
arresting.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's freaking fantastic.
And it is important to see women and minorities in front and centre roles. It's a female ensemble.
Yeah.
And it's just, it feels like it's kind of been swept under the rug, and it's a shame because it's really, really great. If you have Netflix, watch Annihilation, watch it twice. Watch it 4 times. Put it on in the background while you're doing dishes so the numbers go through the roof and people go, oh wow, people really want this stuff. If you're in the States, go and see it at the cinema. Go and see it again. Don't go see Black Panther again. I know Black Panther's great, but it came out in February. Go and see this instead. Like, it's really good, and I just want it to succeed because I want more stuff like this.
Oh god, yeah.
I also want more stuff like Black Panther, but we're going to get that regardless. So you don't need to worry about that shit. Worry about this shit.
The smaller shit.
Should we talk some spoilers?
Let's dip into spoilers territory.
Because,
for
oh my
Annihilation.
days does this film go places.
It fucking does.
So skip to the time codes if you don't want to get spoiled for Annihilation. And the less you know going on, the better, I think. You may be one of those people who watches it and go, oh, I don't know what's going on. That's the fucking point of the movie!
Yeah,
You're not supposed to know what's going on. You watch it and you find out what's going on through the narrative and the interactions of the characters with their environment. Jesus tonight!
Oh, we're having that for tea afterwards, actually.
Oh.
If you guys are sticking around for some Jesus
The
tonight.
flesh of the Saviour.
Like Jesus.
I feel like Jesus tonight. Like Jesus tonight.
Jesus.
Dun, 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 dun. Amen.
Jesus. Tonight. So, yeah. Where to begin, really? It is a thinker. It is a thinker. It is one of those movies where it doesn't. There's a couple of lines in there that are expository, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Benedict Wong stuff was a later edition. It works at the end. You need that time setting for the ending to work, like the ending sort of full stop to it all. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was a later edition in the script. Because it does take away the jeopardy of Natalie Portman's character to a degree.
Yeah, but then they're very clever with that because the way stuff goes down with the sort of, I don't know what to call it, the sort of clone of her towards the end, the mirror of her is like, yeah, but what if?
Well, because that's the thing. That's the insinuation at the end, isn't it? That it's not the clone, but her cells. Her cells are halfway house.
Yeah, because you already know that she's been changed because she takes the blood when she's in Area X. And it's like, oh fuck, whatever. It's in all of us.
Yeah, and that was what was nice about it. Is it wasn't an assimilation threat in the traditional sense.
There was nothing malevolent about whatever was going on. It was just.
It was a bit. It was a bit forceful.
Yeah.
Like at the end with the sort of the clone thing. Like I know it was sort of. It was mimicking her movements, but it was also like crushing her up against the door. And it was probably because it wanted her to stay, because it was learning. It was doing what she was doing and learning.
It's the thematic. Well, I think she says it's mirroring her, but if she hadn't have attacked it,
it wouldn't have attacked her.
It wouldn't have attacked her.
Yeah,
because it was mirroring. It got her sort of destructive tendencies, and it takes her self-destructive tendencies, which is why it lets itself burn.
Yeah.
At the end,
yes,
burns and
but also like that slight nod of maybe it's not had to replicate flame really yet, so this is the first time, so it's not quite sure what it's doing with it. Just
everything burns.
Yeah, and it's like okay, because it replicates it.
Yeah,
and replicating it means everything gets destroyed. So it's like okay, but at the same time, its will to do that, the fact that it then does that has come from her self-destructive nature. It may also come from the fact that she internally is like, I want to destroy all this. This is fucking horrible what it's doing. I've seen enough to know that this is
And
this is worse than it is better to have this thing around.
And then she clearly regrets that.
Yeah. Oh my god. Right, so let's get some. Did you cotton on that it wasn't Oscar Isaac at the beginning? I thought it was definitely him, but I was thinking, how did he get out? How did he get out without the organisation getting hold of him?
I was thinking he was some kind of clone or copy.
Okay.
Because
I had it that maybe he'd been just, it was like the amnesia thing, because they touch on that when they first go in briefly, that you forget periods of time.
It was.
It's like being in a dream.
It was for me. It was like the fact that he immediately starts bleeding, and he's like going into the organ failure. And I'm like, could he not survive outside of Area X? Because going into this enough, knowing enough about the premise, I'm like, oh, okay. But in the book, he comes out and he dies of cancer. Like,
oh, he dies right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not as there are big deviations from what little I know of the book. I've got it all secondhand from Keeks, so and I am going to read it at some point. It's on my Kindle.
It sounds like the changes to adaptation were worth it in terms of just telling this coherent story over.
Well, again, like
over an hour 45.
I mean, Kanisha was pleased by it, and she likes the book, so it's
thumbs up.
It's worked as an adaptation in that sense, and yeah, it's like some good adaptations. It's just it feels like it was just a jumping off point for Alex Garland to take the themes of it and run with it.
But it wasn't an official. It wasn't It wasn't a straight up assimilation kind of threat in the traditional sense of, oh, this thing's going to latch onto you and then grow inside you, or these things will turn you into them. Or
they weren't pod people.
Yeah,
it wasn't like invading the
there was like an element of that briefly. You felt, oh, is this where we're going with this?
Yeah.
But that it's basically like the way that cells like split into two, and then they split into two. This was whatever these things were, getting a grasp of, or whatever this presence or being was, getting a grasp of that idea and going, what if we put those two together?
It's
and
cancer.
Then watch them split. Yeah,
it's planet cancer.
That's
what
cancer.
It is.
Yeah,
it's not. It's malignant in terms of its effects, but it's not malicious in its intent. If it even has intent,
yeah,
like it just grows.
There's no indication at any point that it's sentient,
no,
or even that it isn't it. More so than just something that is naturally occurring based off of what's crashed here.
Yeah, I think there are sort of suggestions that it is learning sentience from
humanity,
what it's assimilated.
Yeah,
particularly in the way it just when it absorbs Ventress and sort of turns into that weird fractal black hole thing, and then fucking one drop of Natalie Portman's blood and it's grows a person, and like, what the fuck is going on? And that's a whole like from when Ventress sort of explodes
into light.
Yeah. Very, very. Everyone's gone to the Rapture style.
Lucy thought that when we were watching.
Yeah,
it. She said this feels like something like that. It feels like you're about to hear a number station when they were walking around the town.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I see what you mean.
From that sort of moment to cutting back to the to Benedict Wong questioning her, there's no dialogue. There's no words.
Yeah.
At all. But so much happens.
Yes.
And there's so much being said about what's happening and what Natalie Portman's character's feeling and thinking. And they've, the party is sort of dwindled by that point because, she's the only one left and everyone's sort of died. Cass and Anya were killed by the bear.
Oh,
the
God.
Bear thing.
Well, Shepard's death, we don't see Shepard's death, but we see her corpse. And she's not too badly mauled, like it's taken a bite out of her.
Yeah.
But then it's left her alone. And it's kind of like what you see later of that creature.
Yeah.
You assume that, it did take something from her. It, took whatever she was thinking at that moment and how she was feeling.
It took her voice.
And took her voice, but specifically, her last words.
Yeah.
Which were, help me. Because then every noise the bear made said, help me.
It's that mimicry.
Oh, but it wasn't because I've seen one description of that saying, it used it to lure them in at the end. It's like, no, I don't think it did.
I don't think it did.
think that's just, it's just the sound. It just took the sound. Because, like you say, there's no sort of malicious intent here. So this was obviously a bear that has possibly become like part deer or something as well, because it's got like a deer skull for a face.
There's the crocodile with the shark teeth.
Oh god, that thing.
It's this is sort of like
the flowers that they, based on what they know, they determine that they've grown into like the shape of a human anatomy and muscle system and everything. Like, that's what they've grown into. So it's not hedge sculptures that look like people. It's plants that have grown to look like people. Whether that's the case or not, we then see it in reverse.
Yeah.
When Tessa Thompson's character just walks off, and as she's walking away, you can see the plant life underneath her skin.
Well,
and then when Natalie Portman steps out to find her, she can't see her. Well, but there's loads of those things in the field. It's like, oh my god, is she just one of them now?
Before she walks off, when they're sat down talking, she's pulling the sprouts out of her arms.
Yeah, but also she's not scared and she's not freaking.
No.
Because whatever's going on in terms of her DNA at that point, she's decided, this is fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this now. And that's where the scary stuff comes in, because you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you're happy and everything, but you're turning into a fucking plant.
But it also, it sent everyone crazy. It's like when you see that first
footage.
evidence, the footage of the team, Oscar Isaac's team, Kane's team. They're vivisecting one of their guys
who is still alive and is fine with it. Like he's letting them do it. He's not struggling
because he knows
they're holding him still because they know it's painful, and they're all saying like, you're okay, and he's like nodding, and it's like, but they're all the same cutting a fucking Teletubby chunk out of his belly so they can look at the movement under his skin, because his intestines are now just kind of moving around.
Yeah.
Like
tentacles,
like a squid that's been packed into a bag.
He's full of tentacles.
It's just like, what?
And then they find his corpse exploded all over the fucking wall.
Oh my god!
And it's like Last of Us style sort of spore growth out of his corpse. And
well, that was what was nice about this. It was like that pod person HR Giga style, like growing biological looking surfaces.
The pit at the end was very Giga.
Yeah, that was very Giga,
I thought.
But for the rest of the movie, they choose to do it mostly through like floral stuff and whatnot. But they choose to do it in a way that is so polar opposite on the colour scheme. Like, it's all vivid, beautiful garden colours. I mean, even the shimmer itself, it's just like a big bubble. Like, it has the rainbow shine to the point where the light going through it, when you see the mist at one point, there's a mist coming out of the steams like coming out of the forest. And that's got like the rainbow colouring in it, because it's just...
And
it's weird, it's beautiful, even though it's terrifying.
That's the thematic thing, it's refracting everything.
Yeah.
It's refracting light, it's refracting sound, it's
there's a window,
DNA.
when they're in the fire tower at one point, one of the windows, like, the cracks were rainbow. And it's just sort of... It just plays against what you're seeing, because you're horrified still at that point by what's going on. Because you don't quite get it, but there's been some creature shit, and there's been some violence, and there's been a guy's intestines moving around, and it's just horrible. And yet, look at all the pretty colours, guys. Like, look at all the genuinely pretty... The only thing in there that, like, wasn't, look at how pretty it is, look at the colours and everything, were our team. They're all, like, in the dull military colours, and they all look, like, sweaty and knackered, and it was just so weirdly refreshing to see that trope flipped. Like, we're going to send the good guys in to deal with the evil shit in this area.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what you've done, but the place they're going looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's still intimidating.
It is something new. It's creating something new, as Lena says later on in the movie.
That tape reveal. Good God.
Yeah.
When you see Oscar, like, you see the corpse sat in the lighthouse, which again, that was beautiful. Like, the whole thing's like that, the white stone and everything. Yeah. And it almost looks carved, like just like vines and creepers going up the side of it.
Well, I didn't see it. I wasn't sure until you get the shot later on of what is actually a bunch of bones in front of the lighthouse. They look like gravestones, like crosses.
Yeah.
But you see them closer up, and it's just torsos.
Yeah.
Like sprouting out of the ground with
clean.
Clean white bone.
It's just like, the hell?
What the fuck is going on?
Because it looks like there's overgrowth on the lighthouse, but it's also the same material as the lighthouse now, so is it carved? Was it a plant that then adapted? Wait, what? Okay. But then inside there is the cross-legged corpse, charred up, clearly a big explosion mark around them on the wall, and the camera, which I call bullshit. Wouldn't have any battery left. But
no, because... time is also refracted inside Area X.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah, because they arrive, then they wake up after having set camp.
but they don't remember.
They don't remember set camp, and based on the food rations, they've been in there possibly 4 days.
So their memory is basically the same as the jump cut we see as the audience.
Yeah, which is freaky. And then you see the tape back, and it's Oscar Isaac, and you know from the moment the recording starts playing, that's him, isn't it? Like, you can tell.
That's his body.
And who he's talking to, you kind of think he's addressing camera, like, are you me? Am I you? Like, was that ever the case?
Yeah.
And he's not sure, and he says, when you get out, just tell Lena I love her, and whatnot. And then he sets off a fucking, like, phosphorus grenade. Burns up within a matter of moments.
Doesn't even scream. Doesn't even have time to scream.
And then another Oscar Isaac steps up from behind the camera and goes to turn the camera off. And you're like, what? But this one looks like how he obviously looked before he went away.
Yeah, it's got
slick hair, and he looks a little less like shaken and more clean shaven. So it's looking like how he likes to look.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, like, how does this all work? It's really freaky. But that's great, because you suddenly realise that the one that came out found its way out, not because it was like, I must go and spread the invasion or anything like that. It went out because he said, find Lena. And it obviously has a vague knowledge of who Lena is.
Yeah.
And it's just, And like at the end, when they sort of reunite, kind of. And he's like, are you Lena? But at that point, You're like, is he asking, is that Lena? Or is he asking, is that the Lena that went in?
Yeah.
And it is the Lena that went in.
And she asked him...
But she's not entirely the Lena that went in anymore.
And she asked him if he's Kane, and he's like, I don't think so. I don't think I am.
I don't think I am. Sorry. I feel like I am, but I don't think I am. And it's like, okay, fair enough. It was freaky. You got any sort of nitpicks or negatives? I really didn't like what Jennifer Jason Leigh was doing for the first 40 minutes.
But it makes sense later on.
It makes sense later. But like, her character is self-destructive because she's basically terminal cancer, isn't it? Like, she's going to die. So she does take this mission because she's like, I might die while I'm out there, I might not, but I'm going to die anyway, so I'm going to take the risk. And it's tearing her apart, like, you know, in every sense of the word. But when we first meet her, we don't know that. So it's, on retrospect, it makes sense, but all the same, I was like, why is she playing it so flat? What's going on? You can really whip out the crazy. Like, I know you can inflect and do this, that, and the other, and it seems really odd.
It didn't bother me so much. I just like seeing Jennifer Jason Leigh and things. I think she's fucking brilliant. And she's great in this.
Tessa Thompson doesn't speak very much in this movie.
She doesn't speak very much.
Well, that's kind of the character.
She's kind of the character. And I think again, she's great.
Mm.
She's sort of very. It's nice to see her sort of, because she is in a lot of the stuff she's doing. She's sort of cocky and confident. And it's nice to see her sort of a bit more subdued. And really cool.
Tuva Novotny, Cass Shepherd.
Great.
The only sort of character we really get to know a bit more about properly once everything kicks in gear, because Lena and Shepherd have the most dialogue.
And also the first to die of the group.
Yeah, which was part of the wraparound narration I didn't mind, because that's foreshadowed earlier on. I think it's like the second bit of the wraparound narration. They're like, do you remember, like, what happened to Shepherd? She's like, she died. Do you remember what happened to her? And she's like, no, I don't. And it's... Yeah. So they were already foreshadowing, that character you kind of like, guys, you're going to see her die.
And it's great, there's like so much of the question, so many of the answers to the questions that she's asked are, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I love how patient they're being. They don't do the sort of the obvious kind of thing of him being like, God damn it, like answer it. No, they're just being patient because they understand based on what they've seen. Yeah, you have no cognitive recollection
because presumably he's a scientist.
Yeah,
and it's not a case of, oh, I need to know so we can strike back. Damn it! It's just like, I need to know because I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah,
and the way Benedict Wong plays it is almost sort of joy in the
discovery of
it all. Like, especially towards the end, he's sort of like, what is it? What did it want? Yeah. What was it like? And she's like, I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it wanted. I don't know if it wanted anything.
Why did it attack you? It didn't.
Yeah.
I attacked it, and it did it back because that's what it was doing. It was learning.
Of course, for them also, the threat, as far as they're aware, is gone because Area X is dissipated by this point.
Yeah.
Although
it burns up from within.
Yeah. Which is, again, just a gorgeous visual. The crystal trees on the beach bursting into flame.
Yeah.
And collapsing into embers. It's like, what? What? That's gorgeous.
I did wonder what they were doing with the affair stuff. I was a bit like, like you're not just, this isn't just the character development you've decided to give this character, is it? But then as it goes on, you realise,
that's why he took the mission.
That's why he took the mission. Because, which just adds to, it turns her POV from unwittingly self-destructive to suicidal a bit. Like, she realises that what happened to her husband happened because of her.
Yeah. And
she it's because of him, but, like, she blames herself because it's something she did to him. And, like, then I was like, okay, I get this. Oh my god, she fucking hates herself even more than I realised. Like, oh my god. And it's just,
It's so very good. And it's haunting. Like, it's one of them that sticks with you. Because of the visuals and the themes of it.
As well.
The score, oh my days. Like, between, like, sort of haunting acoustic guitar music that's sort of mournful, and then bizarre sort of electronic screams. Yeah. Like that, the motif that's in the trailer comes into play big towards the end, and like, oh god, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's really good. I mean, especially for an hour and like without credits, it's like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Definitely worth an hour and 45 minutes of your time. Yeah. Oh god.
Go watch Annihilation.
Yeah, if you got Netflix, give it a watch. If you haven't got Netflix, get a month's free trial and give it a watch.
Hey! Yeah, love it.
Annihilation!
It's been a good year for movies so far.
It has.
Yeah, we haven't had to shit on anything yet, have we?
Well,
not that we've seen.
If reports do be believed, we might have to shit on Deadpool 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into that when we get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, boy!
Right, let's do some emails.
It's emails. Emails. You never really know what they're gonna do next. It's emails. Giggity, giggity, go.
Hello, you big, dank boys.
I like your moxie, kid.
Boys with an I. This is from Nerve Sphere Studios.
Hey!
This episode just gone has made me have a need to watch X-Files and Buffy. Speaking of Monster of the Week shows, have either of you seen Supernatural? It's actually quite good and I'd like to hear your opinions on it. I've not seen Supernatural. I'm aware of it and the fact that it just refuses to stop. But I've just never sat down and watched any of it. I hear it's good.
It's the Resident Evil of TV. I'm not talking about quality or premise. I just mean that they're all like, we like being paid.
Yeah.
Let's keep making this.
Let's keep making them. Fine.
I would like to see it. I watched some season 1 when it first aired.
It's a neat premise, so I'll give it that. But I just haven't sat down and watched it. So maybe I'll put that on my list.
I'll have to give it a go.
List of projects.
Really cute.
On a completely unrelated note, I'm assuming you've heard about the new Marvel Fresh Start reboot thing. What do you think, and which ones are you going to buy? Personally, I'm going to buy Hulk and Spider-Man, or at least I will when the TBPs come out. That is all from me today, dank boys. Let me see if I can find a list of the stuff that's been announced for the Marvel reboot.
Look, yeah. I'll definitely give Iron Man a go.
I was going to say that because
I want to see what Dan Slott does with that toy box.
We do like a bit of Dan Slott.
I'll give Spidey a go, because I'll be curious as to what the new custodians of Spider-Man have got in store.
Who is...
Considering how long Dan Slott's run has been, it's actually kind of daunting. Like, Spider-Man's my book. Like, Amazing Spider-Man is my book. But, knowing it's a completely new team, I'm like, oh, maybe now's the time I call it a day.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to give it a try. Because it wouldn't be the case had Dan been on it for, say, like 2-3 years, whatever. But because he's been on it for over a decade... My mind is like in that place where I'm like, oh, that thing I like is coming to an end. It's like, no, I need to give the new team a try. I need to give them a go.
Let's see if I can find a... Alright, so Scotty Young and Nick Klein, writer-artist, are taking over Deadpool.
You know, is this the first book Scotty Young's done for Marvel solely as writer?
I can't remember if he wrote Andrew Rocket Raccoon. or if he just wrote it.
No, you're right.
I know he did covers.
He did, at least did the first arc, because I
Yeah.
got the first issue and that was him. Yeah, he did the art and the thing for that. Oh no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, is this the first one where he's just written it? I'm interested in that. Scott Young's got a nice, wicked sense of humour. It'd be interesting to see how he tackles dead people.
Jeff Lemire and Kim Jacinto are doing a Sentry ongoing.
Okay, what? Huh?
Apparently, I've not read this Doctor Strange arc, but apparently the Sentry recently returned in Doctor Strange, and Jeff Lemire wants to take the idea of the Void in a different direction than it's gone before.
Okay, so it's gonna be a magic book.
Yeah,
Okay,
possibly.
All right,
Maybe
that's
not.
fine.
It's just the Sentry, so it might not be magic. It might just be
Superman.
Who knows?
It might,
I like Jeff Lemire,
it might
though.
just be Superman with Psycho Superman.
Dan Slott and Valerio Schiti are taking over Iron Man. Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Yeah, I like the rename.
Yeah.
Have you seen the cover?
Yes, I've got the cover in front of me.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
It's
Lovely.
nice. It's nice. So yeah, interested to see what they do with that. I'm good. Doctor Strange, Mark Waid and Jesus Ciaz.
Mark Waid on Strange.
Yeah. I'll give that a go. I will give that a go.
I'd dip into that. I'd dip a toe in
So yeah,
that.
Iron Man and Strange definitely have a look at. Margaret Stoll and Carlos Pacheco are doing The Life of Captain Marvel, which seems like it's that's an origin book for Captain Marvel, a flashback origin book.
Wait, Carol Danvers?
Yeah.
So they're rewriting her origin?
It looks like it.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe. Ant-Man and the Wasp are getting a 5-issue mini from Mark Waid and Javier Garron.
I think that's a good way to do it with
And
Ant-Man, really. I think to do an event book of it's a 5-issue series, I think that's a good shout.
It's the Scott Lang Ant-Man and the Nadia Pym Wasp.
Oh, okay.
Which is sort of the Hope Van Dyne of the Marvel Comics
616
universe.
continuity,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nick Spencer and Ryan Otley on Amazing Spider-Man. Nick Spencer, yeah, I'd go for that.
Yeah?
I'd go for Nick Spencer writing Amazing Spider-Man. I've liked most of his stuff before, so I could...
What's he done most recently?
The thing I am familiar with him from is the Secret Avengers.
Oh, shit, okay,
Not the Heroic Age one, the Marvel Now one.
Yeah. They're with Hawkeye and
Yeah.
Coulson and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Okay.
What else has he done? I think he's done some X-Men stuff as well that I've liked, or not hated at least. He has.
I liked it, by which I mean I didn't hate it.
He also popped up. I've recently watched the Image Comics documentary
Okay.
that's on Amazon Prime, and he pops up in that talking about Image
I
Comics.
should give that a watch, actually. I finally caught up with the toys that made us, by the way.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
Very good.
It's very good.
Very, very good.
What
It's
else?
a new documentary series.
Morning Glories. That's what I know him from.
Oh!
Yeah.
All right.
Morning
yeah.
Glories. Superior Foes of Spider-Man.
That's Nick Spencer?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm reading. Yeah, I'm reading Amazing.
Yeah.
Superior Foes was brilliant.
Superior Foes.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Because it was, hey, let's take the C-listers and D-listers and E-listers and F-listers and tell a story with them. And it was so good.
He co-wrote some of the Avengers stuff with Jonathan Hickman that he then spun out into Avengers World.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah, so good stuff. Wrote the Ant-Man stuff from just before Secret Wars.
Oh, so around the time of the Ant-Man movie coming out.
Everybody loves team-ups and Small Time Criminal and Trial of Ant-Man and all that stuff. Captain America Sam Wilson.
Oh,
Avengers
okay.
Standoff.
So he's been given a lot of arcs and moments.
Captain America Steve Rogers, so he's responsible for the Hydra Cap. So, but I don't know how that turns out. So.
Oh, well, Spidey's already gone evil, so you have to try something else.
But speaking of Captain America,
Aye.
now this is a fucking team.
Oh, meat.
Artist Lil Yu and writer Ta-Nehisi Coates, fresh off Black Panther, taking over Captain America, and it is Steve Rogers' cap.
I'd read the shit out of that.
Yeah,
I wasn't big on the
not-
Black Panther relaunch, but I think it's because at the time
I've not read any Ta-Nehisi Coates, but I've heard great stuff about it.
I've read
but
the
I've not
first
any
two
of it.
issues. At the time, I was looking for something a bit lighter and dafter, and it was a lot more sort of politically heavy and stuff. So, but again, if you're going to take that kind of like world and a writer's approach to that kind of thing, bring it to the frickin'
What's he say about it?
Bring it to the flag waving Patriot boy. Do you know what I mean? And mess around with that. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Lenny Liu as well on art.
Yeah.
Oh, be nice. I look forward to it with me neck. Ooh, neck.
Coach wrote an essay for The Atlantic about why he's writing Captain America. It says, those of you who've never read a Captain America comic book or seen him in the Marvel movies would be forgiven for thinking of Captain America as an unblinking mascot for American nationalism. In fact, the best thing about the story of Captain America is the implicit irony. Captain America begins as Steve Rogers, a man with the heart of a god and the body of a wimp. The heart and body are brought into alignment throughout the super soldier serum, which transforms Rogers into a peak human physical specimen. Dubs Captain America, Rogers becomes the personification of his country's egalitarian ideals, an anatomical Horatio Alger who, through sheer grit and the wonders of science, rises to become a national hero. Yeah, I'd read that fucking book. I'm going to read that book. So that's Captain America, Iron Man, Doctor Strange. I'm interested in so far. This is an interesting one.
Yes.
Al Ewing
Yes.
writing and Joe Bennett drawing The Immortal Hulk #1.
I'm surprised they've not used that title before. What's the premise?
Bruce is his regular human form during the day, but no matter what happens to him, at night he will transform into the Hulk.
Old school then. Like old school Hulk. Because that was how it was for the first batch of issues, wasn't it? It was at night he transformed.
Bruce can be killed, but the Hulk is immortal and will rise each night to seek vengeance. The Hulk's now a horror comic.
What? So wait, so
The cover
Yeah.
cover is the Hulk rising out of Bruce Banner's grave.
Holy shit. So...
Because Bruce is dead.
Oh, when did he die?
Civil War 2.
So they're literally... Oh my god! So when I was here thinking, oh, Bruce by day, Hulk by night, I was thinking of the original comics thing of like at night he turns into Hulk. No, what you're implying is Bruce Banner is dead, but the genes and all that shit that turn into the Hulk are obviously still awake in some capacity. Okay,
That could be interesting.
it's not going to last long, is it? But it's going to be a fun ride.
I think I'm going to
Is it
check
Al
that
Ewing?
out just for the premise alone.
Is that Al Ewing?
Yeah.
I loved his work on the Doctor Who comics, so I would
I
give
like
that a
Al
go.
Ewing generally.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
There's a Cosmic Ghost Rider miniseries.
Hey, I'd read the shit out of that.
As yet untitled. Donny Cates is writing that. No artist announced.
Yeah, but
Ooh.
a Cosmic Ghost Rider series, I'd read the shit out of that.
Matthew Rosenberg and Andy McDonald are writing a multiple man series,
Okay.
spinning out of his apparent death in Death of X. Apparently he's not dead. And we're going to find out why.
Or one of them was. One of the multiples wasn't. Or something. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
This I'm definitely going to read after I've caught up on what... Because I'm rereading I'm catching up on the current run.
Yeah.
Through the Marvel Now stuff. I'm just coming to the end of those trades and I'm going to be jumping on to the next segment of it. But this, I'm definitely going to get... Jason Aaron continues his run, now with artist Mike Del Mundo on Thor.
Okay. So that's one of the few. That's one of the few changes in terms of writing, at least. It's like he's sticking around.
He's still on there, yeah.
Yeah.
And because he's not finished his story yet.
Fair play.
He's done his Jane Foster segment.
Yeah.
That's done with now.
Yeah.
Or it's ending at the moment.
Yeah.
Because the current arc in Mighty Thor is Death of Jane Foster.
Okay.
And then the Odin Son's going to return to the mantle, complete with
Big golden metal arm.
Big golden metal arm. Yeah, that's the cover. That's a fucking Thor cover.
That is
right
a
there. What's the premise? The artifacts of Asgard have been scattered across the earth, and to reclaim them, Thor will have to face some ugly truths.
It's a shit name for a supervillain group. Hey!
And the Juggernaut's going to be in it.
Oh, fuck yes. Okay, I'll read that.
Ta-Nehisi Coates is continuing on Black Panther with the new number 1.
Oh, juggling too.
And Daniel Acuna's taking over on art.
Okay.
I really like Daniel Acuna's art, so I'm jazzed for that. I might check that out. I'm going to have to catch up on
the first run.
The first run
of Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Panther.
Donny Cates, who I don't know, is pairing up with Ryan Stegman on art.
Mm-hmm, I do like Stegman.
Venom number 1.
Is it back to Eddie Brock? I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, it's Lethal Protector.
Is that what it's called?
No,
there's no the story.
Yeah,
that kind of style.
In the wake of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s collapse, an ancient and primordial evil
about Venom
has been awakened beneath the streets of New York, and with it something equally evil has awakened in that most wicked of web-slingers, Venom. Still a lethal protector of the innocents in New York, this never-before-seen threat could force Venom to relinquish everything it holds dear, including Eddie Brock.
Okay.
A Venom adventure 1,000 years in the making. Don't care.
I mean, I've followed the Venom comics up until the end of Remender's run.
Yeah.
And then I think the next step after that was him joining the Guardians, but I dropped off a bit then. And then Venom Space Knight. So I've got quite a lot of Venom to catch up on, but
Yeah.
Venom's a character I enjoy, but I acknowledge that he's stupid. Which is why Remender's stuff was so interesting, because it was, here's a completely different concept
He's
for
got to be
Venom.
done right.
Here's Flash Thompson and his military living suit, and you know what I mean. Like this is different. This only exists because of movies coming out this year. That's the only reason this exists.
Yeah. Finally,
Yes.
Jason Aaron once again.
Oh yeah.
This time teaming up with Ed McGuinness. Avengers. Yeah, it's Avengers. Like.
So these are the only titles.
The ones that have been
the ones that are
announced.
part of this. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm not hearing any.
Well, I don't know if they're rebooting
any
all the
team
X-Men
up or
stuff.
Fantastic Four or X-Men.
Marvel Team Up 4 has been previewed, and there are new Fantastic Four costumes in it.
Okay.
Although only 2 of the Fantastic Four, because the whole the plot of Marvel 2 and 1 is that
they're trying to find
Ben and
the
Johnny
Richards.
have to go and find the multiverse because they're losing their powers. Because their powers only work if they're united as a unit.
Okay.
The longer they're separate, the weaker their powers will get.
Is this a new rule?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've liked Marvel 2 and 1 so far, but so I'm hoping it goes towards a.
I just love those characters, and I want them to finally get some of their due. You know what I mean? Like, it's been so long since we've seen them properly. It's too long.
So this new Avengers team, apparently the first art's going to see him going up against the Celestials, and it's going to be Thor, Captain Marvel,
Black Panther,
Captain America, Black Panther, Iron Man, She-Hulk, but Hulk She-Hulk,
roided out. Yeah. Don't know how I feel about that.
Ghost Rider, the new Ghost Rider, what's he called? Robbie Rodriguez.
Yes.
Is that right?
I think that's his name. Yeah.
All new Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Ghost Rider
and Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strong.
And it's Jason Aaron. So yeah.
Okay, on writing duty. That's
and what strange world-shaking connection exists between the final host and Odin's ancient band of prehistoric Avengers?
What? That better be glorious dumb fun. It better be.
Jason Aaron has done great stuff on Thor, and he did really good stuff with Doctor Strange when they relaunched it post Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So those 2 characters being on this book, I can get excited about. And Ed McGuinness is a great artist. So yeah, out of those, interested in Iron Man, definitely.
Yeah.
Interested in Spider-Man, definitely. Captain America, Black Panther, possibly. I need to read more of Tina Hayes-Coates' writing. Definitely Thor, and probably Avengers. Everything else I'm not really asked about. Venom particularly, couldn't care less about.
I'm intrigued to see what Scotty Young does with Deadpool on script duties.
Yeah.
Spidey and Iron Man, yes. I would like to at least read an issue of Immortal Hulk just to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And now that my mind's in a different place in terms of the sort of stories I want to read, I'd be up for giving the Black Panther mini relaunch a go. See what's going on in Wakanda.
Yes. Finally, this week.
Yeah.
Tom Monty says, "Dear Christopher and Matthew."
Well, he says,
Dear Christopher and Matthew. What do you think of that new Fantastic Beasts trailer? I think it looks like shit. Love, Tom Monty. Shortest email he's ever sent us. I sense some indignation in this, Tom. Are you angry at this trailer? I have little to no opinion about this trailer. Like, I can't eat. This trailer is so bland and uninteresting as to it can't even muster up hatred within me. All it can do is sort of be there and sort of roll, and things pass before my eyes and I just go, oh.
Now comes the time to pick a side. What? I already wasn't fussed about the original Fantastic Beasts because I thought it was going to be a gay old romp in 1920s New York with a wizard, a muggle, and a bunch of magical beasties on the loose.
And this isn't going to be a gay old romp because they've already turned around and said they're not going to address Dumbledore's sexuality.
Which is weird because you kind of have to touch on it considering the villain is his ex-lover. Like, you kind of have to touch on that.
But no. No.
No, because they don't want to frighten away the already God-fearing people who hate the movies because they're about witchcraft. It's just,
If you're going to make a character gay, but you're not going to do anything about it, like, I'm not saying you don't have to get all Moffat about it with, like, every line being,
we're the thin, fat, thingy, gay Anglican couple.
Yeah.
What else are we supposed to be called?
But at least, if it's going to be a thing, don't be just, like, in all the interviews, be like, oh, yeah, and this, and this, and this. And then not actually have any of it in the...
Well, especially considering the conflict is, here is a murderous criminal, it's Wizard Hitler at this point in the Wizard timeline.
But also...
And we were a thing.
They
I want you to help
history.
me take him down.
Yeah.
It's like, you kind of have to touch on
address
that.
it. So, I don't know, it just seems...
Because otherwise, what's the point in the story? Like, it's not like, they don't have to talk about like what they were like as a couple. It's like, they don't have to go into detail.
No, but at
it's
least
obviously
acknowledge
part of the motivation is... Look, maybe Dumbledore feels he can appeal to Grindelwald. Yeah. Maybe Dumbledore's like, no, I've seen him. I know.
You know what?
He's not a good man.
Maybe they're just not talking about it in. Maybe they're making it out. They're not going to do that in the pre-release, but they actually are. We'll see. Yeah. But I don't think Warner Brothers have the balls, frankly.
No.
So fuck them. I'd fuck Johnny Depp. It's like, can we not see any more Johnny Depp now? I'm fucking done with Johnny Depp. He's run his career into the ground. He beat his wife. Can we just let him go? Let him go. Remember him as he was, not as he is. Fuck Johnny Depp.
Also, in the last one, the character played by Colin Farrell turned out in the end to be Grindelwald in disguise. And he turned... Which in that film is pointless. Because in that movie, I just wanted a magical romp with, like I said, a wizard and a muggle. Yeah. Quirky wizard and a fun muggle. Trying to put all these wacky animals away that had escaped. That's not what the first movie was about. That was like 2 scenes of the first movie. The rest of it was all this political intrigue and there's apparent setup that's going on in the wizarding world and blah blah. Basically, the whole movie was leading into it's a series. It's going to be about this stuff instead.
But I don't think they knew what they were going to do.
Well, I think they were planning to. Oh no! Before the first one came out, they confirmed that there was going to be 5.
Fuck a dog.
Yeah. Because Warner Brothers don't have a franchise that is good, so they just hope that this will work. But Colin Farrell plays a character throughout who's like the guy at the Wizarding Council or whatever who's been sent to deal with Newt's thing and figure out what's going on. There's also this creature, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like this black smoke thing that's been, apparently killing people and whatnot, and he's meant to be tracking that down, and he thinks it's linked to this. But then at the end you realise, no, he's been trying to frame them on purpose because he's been doing it all from behind the scenes because he's Grindelwald, who the movie only actually discusses in a newspaper clipping in the opening credits, and then is brought up briefly during a council meeting, which is why when the movie ends with, it was him all along, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not on Pottermore every day, I don't understand who this is, what's going on. It just was, but you were meant to obviously go, oh my god, it's him! And it's played by Johnny Depp, this is a shock. But the problem was, Colin Farrell was so good, that I'm like, forget the disguise making him look like Colin Farrell, but he's really Johnny Depp. Just change Colin Farrell's appearance slightly and have him play the part, please.
But no! Johnny Depp! He's a bankable star!
That they're going to get pulled up on. Oh, wait, they did. It's just not good. I don't give a shit. And spoiler alert for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The Muggle character, I can't remember his name now, but he was the only character I really liked in it. Sort of sacrifices his memories of what happened because he needs to, because that's how it goes down. Like, the Muggles are meant to forget, so he steps out into the rain that washes away all the memories and this, that, and the other. And it's all played up as like, oh my god, this is really sad. Like, it's the Donna Noble thing of like, thank you so much for everything you've done, but you have to forget this, and we're never going to forget you. And he's like, well, I'm going to forget you. It's like, this is kind of sad. And then off he goes, and then he's making his pastries at the end in his patisserie, and he's making them look like little dragons and stuff, and you get the idea that, part of it's obviously stuck with him, because, but then his wizardy girlfriend lady from the film goes to visit him, and the implication is she's going to make him go, hi, I'm just going to remind you about everything. There he is in the trailer for this, so what was the point of that emotional weight? It's the Moffat of... it's the Moffat of the Wizarding World. Now, I won't deny, kind of cool seeing Hogwarts in the opening shot of the trailer, because you suddenly go, oh, yay, that's a place we like being, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you see the Defence Against the Dark Arts room, and it's like, I bet they shot this at the studio tour, and that's kind of cool.
That's what they kept it around for.
And Jude Law is the way he's speaking as Albus Dumbledore sounds like.
I like Jude Law.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's sort of playing with the.
Great. Did he beat his wife as well? Please tell me he didn't beat his wife.
No, but it sounds like he's playing with his intonations and everything in a way that's similar to sort of Gambon's, which is nice because it's a little bit of it's definitely the same character.
Gambon.
And whatnot, and Eddie fucking Redmayne's in it again, and
Eddie fucking Redmayne.
Yeah. Talented guy, but Newt Scamander, the way he performed that role, right even down to the look, said to me that he was just watching cable TV in an American hotel at some point not last year, like a year before the film, and he just caught a Matt Smith episode of Doctor Who and went, "Oh, I'll just do that." Do you know what I mean? It's just really odd. It's just like
fuck off, Eddie. Like,
and again, like Newt Scamander, based on what we knew of Newt Scamander before all this bullshit. Is he was a quirky individual who fucking toured the magical world documenting all the creatures so he could write a comprehensive guide on them. He's not a secret agent for a proto-version of Dumbledore's army.
It's the secret history of the Harry Potter universe.
And the internet went nuts yesterday when the trailer came out because what's on the first shots? It's Hogwarts, it's all peaceful, and then some of the Ministry appear on the bridge and start walking up to the grounds. They just whoosh, they apparate. Pretty strict rule in the books and in the films. You cannot apparate into or out of Hogwarts grounds. It's completely not as a rule. It's impossible to do. That's why Voldemort's lot rock up like they march there for the final.
Is that not something that gets
the only people who could do it are house elves?
Is that not something that gets introduced after
the extract from the book that's quoted in one of the books is that it is Hogwarts. It's never been possible to apparate into or out of Hogwarts. Now they could change that. J.K. Rowling has written the script.
Hey, she's writing it. So.
It could be a retcon. It could be like you're going to see the reason why. And some people have said maybe the Ministry have different privileges, but no, bloody Fudge shows up.
Fudge.
Cornelius Fudge. He shows up a couple of times in the Harry Potter stories, and he arrives.
Isn't it great when this series tries to get serious and then characters have names like Cornelius Fudge?
Well, it's the series' fault for deciding it's for grisly. Emo teens, the more it goes on.
Dumbledore! Say Dumbledore, seriously.
I double dare you to say Dumbledore, motherfucker!
Oh, God.
I couldn't give a shit about this movie, but I'm probably going to end up seeing it because Lou didn't love the first, but she enjoyed it enough that she's like, yeah, I'd go see another one. So I'm probably going to end up seeing it. I would rather just rewatch Prisoner of Azkaban again, because that's pretty great.
You're fucked, Johnny Depp.
I'm not fucking Johnny Depp.
Just fuck that guy.
I'm seeing him live in a few months.
How do you
I'm
feel
going to
about
see Hollywood Vampires. I don't know. I find it weird with the old Johnny Depp thing because I'm like, we don't know everything, but we've seen enough to know that there's some horrible shit going down. You need to either address it head on and at least acknowledge that you've done wrong, or address it head on and be like, okay, everybody, here's some stuff you've not been told. See, it's not as bad as you thought, but I've stayed quiet because this is a sensitive subject. I didn't want it to be out in the open. Or he needs to be like, yeah, I'm going to stop now. But to be honest, I'm mostly going to see Hollywood Vampires because I want to see Alice Cooper and Joe Perry. So, there we go.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but I am on the third row for the stand-in. So if you want me to throw something at Johnny Depp, I will happily do so.
Yeah, throw his phone at him. How do you like that, Johnny? How do you like it when it's your phone?
Not sure how I'm going to get it off of him, but I'll try. We can all but try. Just like you can try to get in touch. BigDamnContact@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter @BigDamnCast anytime you like. If you don't get an immediate response to any of your emails in the coming weeks, don't worry. We're not ignoring you. It's just things are about to get wibbly-wobbly, squibbly-wibbly. Because I'm off to Lincoln again to do more theatre. And we don't know what our setup's like as of yet, so...
I'm not off to Lincoln to do any theatre.
He's on house arrest.
Yeah. I've got an ankle bracelet and everything.
He does. In fact, how did you get here today?
Did
you jimmy it open?
I got Turk to modify it for me.
You got... What?
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 You got Turk to modify it for you? What?
You can turn it off and on and off.
What? What's that even mean?
And on again. You know, like he does in Daredevil season...
Oh, that Turk.
That Turk.
I thought you meant from Scrubs.
Not just a Turk.
I thought you meant from Scrubs. Or from Tarzan.
Not just the Turkish man from down the pub who runs the kebab shop. Not that guy.
He's a lovely man, though.
He is a lovely man.
Now you've said that, do you want to go get a falafel?
Shawarma.
Shawarma?
Shawarma.
Hey, shawarma!
Shawarma? I barely knew her!
We'll see you next week.
Fuck Johnny Depp.
Just not gently. He doesn't deserve it.